The first idea for my 1-minute film is a story based around a lemon. The lemon lives by himself and spends pretty much all of his waking hours watching sad films on his television. I will create a montage of his days, including a short display of a calendar to show time-lapse. One day he goes into his garden to find a hippie. The hippie tells him to stop watching films and live his own experiences. Only shall he be happy when he does. So the lemon takes the advice of the hippie and goes out into the world. He feels elevated and happier than ever before. A knife comes from the sky and slices him in half before squeezing him over a glass to make lemonade. My stylistic ideas include pencil-drawn animation scanned into Flash and composited in After Effects with hand-drawn backgrounds. The interior of the house shall always appear black and white, contrasting with the colourful hippie and outdoor scenes to create visual division between the two lifestyles. I use shock humour at the end of this animation when the lemon is turned into lemon juice. Some influences in my style include David Firth, a black and white cartoon about berries, for the hand-drawn animation characters in Flash. I think this is a very interesting style. Firth creates an uncomfortable hostility through his scratchy drawings. Another stylistic influence includes Adam Elliott, Mary and Max for the contrasting lives of the characters, one in colour, one in black and white, the hippie and the lemon. Idea 2. Emulation. This idea follows a personal theme. It is about the transformation of a man as he becomes more involved in his job as an office worker. I plan to focus on short 10-second bursts of his life. This is because it would be difficult to tell his story in 1 minute. I also think it is an effective way to show transformation, as the viewer has little time to become accustomed to the changes. His story begins when he becomes employed. At first he is very pleased to have been given the opportunity. Throughout the film, his head changes form into a square shape, concluding when it is a computer screen. This metamorphic metaphor shows how the character was robotized by working in an office. I think people will relate to my film, as when I was working, I became less creative and sometimes wished to be more like a machine. An important scene in this film is when he tries to communicate with an old friend, but cannot, as his language has changed to noises and binary. This scene represents how interests change, and also people who would otherwise experience the same lifestyle are separated by work. Some of my inspiration comes from the book and film Acid House by Irving Welsh. A man is transformed into a fly by God. He tries to communicate with his friend but cannot. In this piece I will use the soundtrack to emphasize transformation. I plan to use the soundtrack in this piece to emphasize transformation by starting out with acoustic instruments such as guitar and bass, before then becoming digital with synths and drum modules. My third and final idea is about a boy and his talking balloon. The boy and the balloon are inseparable. I plan to create a montage of happy experiences shared by the two. One day the boy wanders into the dark woods, despite the protest of the balloon. The balloon refuses to go at first, but the boy goes in anyway. He finds trouble and runs. Meanwhile, the balloon cautiously enters the wood in search. The boy is being chased by a monster. He eventually finds the balloon. He runs to and hugs the balloon. The balloon pops, the sound scaring the monster. The boy cries and takes home the balloon. In the final shot, the boy holds his saggy balloon fixed with tape. My third and final idea is the least refined out of the three. My favourite idea is Emulation, the story of the man becoming a machine. I prefer this idea over the other two because I do not think they have the same depth. I think more people will relate to this idea. Thank you for your time, and good night. If you have any questions, please forward them to the man below the screen.